2024 now. Can you guess what it is?
It's
For a
got
30-second
for a
ad
30-second
for
ad.
this year's
It's
Super
got to
Bowl.
be. It was 2 million in 2000. So I'm gonna say it's
It's
10
still
million
close. I
now.
mean, 7 million.
That doesn't seem outrageous, I guess, but 30 seconds, that's a lot of money for 30 seconds, actually. If you calculate that down to how much per second that is,
Should we just
that's
do that right now?
brutal.
So
Yeah.
7 million divided by 30. It looks like it's 233,333 roughly a second.
A second. So over 200K a second.
Yeah.
Yikes. That shit better be hilarious.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Schlabcast. Andy and Jeff here. Unfortunately, no Caleb, but Andy and Jeff are here giving you a Super Bowl 58 preview. 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It's
Boo.
here. But before we get into all of that, just wanted to hit on a few notes.
So the Pro Bowl just happened. I did see a couple CJ Stroud clips, but that was about it.
Yeah, he'd had one of the highlight throws for sure in that flag football game. Overall, I'd say it feels like it's heading in the right direction. The past couple of years, it seemed like they're still kind of feeling out the games and like trying to think of things just to keep people's attention, make it entertaining. But this time around, it was similar, but it felt like the players were more bought in. You felt this competitive energy
Yeah.
among them. So that was cool, especially like there was the tug of war, which was kind of cool. They had this little relay race that they did twice with different players, and you could definitely see the competitive juices flowing. Flag football was kind of hit or miss, but there were times like you said, the CJ Stroud. So I enjoyed it.
I
It
think it's
was.
a fun concept, changing it up.
I'm glad that they're at least trying to do something. I would hate for them to just get rid of it altogether.
Yeah. There's got to be some sort of all-star thing.
Hmm.
Everybody does it. You got to do it. I'm okay with the Peyton and Eli thing too. That seems like a good way to keep it going.
But like you said, for the like it's the All-Star game, so these are the players that like sell the tickets, These are the reasons why we watch the game. Obviously, some of them didn't show up, not everybody, but
Yeah. And they never do. And a lot of people are deserving that don't, go as well too. But it's a fun bonus thing for fans for sure. I think they should take it back to Hawaii
yeah. It was in I think Florida this time, so they were going to like Disney World and with their families and stuff.
for sure. That's cool. I
But I
love Disney
agree,
World.
yeah, nothing beats Hawaii. Moving on to some other news. So just talk about my Eagles very briefly. Some exciting news, I would say. It's the first for the
Yeah.
NFL. Eagles host the NFL's first game in South America, week one of next year, 2024-25 season. The biggest things to note is that it's going to be not only is it their opener, but it's on a Friday. It does count as one of their home games,
Interesting.
and the opponent is to be determined.
It's been happening a lot. The Padres are doing a similar thing. They're playing their first two games in South Korea to start the season. Seems to be happening, and that's cool. I like them going international. There always seems to be that game in Germany I heard was absolutely bonkers packed, and millions of people were trying to get tickets. So I think they should keep doing it. And if the teams are willing to give up a home game, then you're going to make a bunch more fans in the process. What
It's
happens to
exciting.
season ticket holders for that game?
They
Are
lose.
they charged for that?
I don't know if they're charged
They
for that,
shouldn't
but
be.
I don't think they're charged for that, but they do
They
lose that
lose a
game.
game
They do
though.
lose a game.
Yeah. See about that. See how the reaction is in Philadelphia about that. I think it's cool though.
Other news?
Cliff Kingsbury opts out of the Raiders offensive coordinator due to contract length negotiations and becomes the Commanders offensive coordinator, saying Magic Johnson is involved. Washington is making some interesting moves
Yeah,
to try to reinvigorate the franchise. Go
Magic
ahead.
Johnson thing kind of came a little bit late, but generally it was supposed to be reported that I hate to call the Raiders cheap, but they said that they were only willing to give him like a 2-year deal and he wanted 3 years. And apparently most teams in general when offering to coordinators, it's generally like a 3-year deal. So for whatever reason, Raiders, I guess, said 2, and then Washington was like, okay, we'll give you 3, and then that's that.
Can't fault him there, I guess. Interesting. It's because the Raiders are out of money. They were already paying like four different coaches that don't work there anymore.
Just when I was like getting good vibes about the Raiders, AP, you got
Yeah,
Telesco, then it looked like, oh, you got Cliff Kingsbury to pair with, AP. He can hold the offense down.
yeah.
First little
Nah,
misstep.
little step back.
And then obviously now Commanders with the number 2 pick, all the rumors are swirling. What are they gonna
Hmm.
offer? Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury in love with Caleb Williams says he doesn't disagree that he could be Pat Mahomes. So
We'll see. And the draft stuff just gets me going.
maybe the Bears will
Um,
trade out again. We'll see.
yeah,
What do you think?
sure worked out well for my team last year. I think they have a serious chance of trading up into it for sure. I'm still not convinced the Bears have given up completely on Justin Fields, but whatever. Shiny new car, kind of old new car, but you just bought it recently, so you should probably stick with it. But shiny new car, there's a dilemma there. What's the trade-in value you get for Justin Fields versus what they can get in return? I think Justin Fields is all right. I think if you gave him some pieces around him, he is very inconsistent, but I think that's the whole team.
Yeah, I'm still torn on that. Although I will say the past few days I've been slightly leaning towards the draft a little bit. It's still early. We'll see. Combine does start at the end of this month.
Yeah, that's wild.
Moving a little bit closer towards some Super Bowl news and Super Bowl talk now. Just this past couple days, it was reported an NFL player was attacked by a coyote in Lake Las Vegas. First of all, who
Dude,
knew that
this
there
is
was a lake
crazy.
in Las Vegas?
Yeah,
And
this is
then
crazy.
who do we think it is?
I would have said like Tyreek Hill, but I don't think it is.
I think you do have it right with like the height when you said Tyreek Hill, because I was like, what coyote in their right mind would want to even attack an NFL player? You think it's like a big dude? Like,
Yeah, I
unless
was
it's
thinking
like
smaller. Jacoby Myers?
Hunter Renfro.
Oh, is that who it was?
They didn't say. I'm just
They
thinking
didn't
of
say who it
shorter
was?
people
Okay.
in Las
Yeah.
Vegas.
Let's get into this Super Bowl that none of us really want to talk about.
But we're gonna talk about it for
Uh,
you guys.
I was wearing my Texans beanie today at the bar, and somebody was like, "It's not a 49ers beanie. Did you fair weather fan?" I was like, "No, this is the Texans beanie. I'm not a fan of the 49ers. Thank you." But there's some interesting facts we can get into here. We'll get into the odds in just a second. You had a note here that I really liked. In the past 30 years of the Super Bowl, teams that have traveled west have a 7-0 record versus teams that have traveled east.
Yeah, so it favors the Chiefs.
So it favors the Chiefs.
Super Bowl winning head coach has also never lost a rematch. 3-0.
Interesting.
So again, not like these things mean the end all be all, but
No, but they're
make it
interesting things to think about going in.
exactly. Obviously, a 49ers victory, it would tie the NFL franchise record for most Super Bowl wins with the Steelers and the Pats at
Steelers and
6.
Patriots, a lot on the line for both teams. The rematch of the Red Bull 4 years later on another leap year, same head coaches and everything. Let's get into some of these odds just for fun. We can go through them quickly, see what you think. Patrick Mahomes, over 260 passing yards. Brock Purdy, 246. You think either of those guys hit that? You think it's going to be a running game? Think it's going to be some passing defense? How do you think the game overall is going to go?
As much as people might want to think that it's going to be an offensive game with Mahomes and then with that 49ers, Kyle Shanahan offense, I actually think it's going to be more of a defensive game or just more lower scoring than people may anticipate. So 260 to me still seems kind of low for Mahomes, though. Uh,
Yeah, it's a good
Actually,
number.
I still would say the over because I just feel like Mahomes can get 300 pretty easily.
He
So
throws it. He throws it deep pretty often, at least a couple times a game. This one that I really like here is this Brock Purdy over under 12 and a half rushing yards. I would take the over on that
oh, for
for
sure.
sure. These last couple playoff games, he has made a couple really good plays. getting like 10, 12 yards on just one play
Yeah, exactly. He
for a
could do
first
that
down.
on one run. Exactly.
Mahomes 26 and a half rushing yards now. That's, I mean, like, yeah, he scrambles a lot, but that's a lot. I would be taking the under.
I'm gonna go against you on that one. I'm gonna take the over just to make
We
it
had some other
interesting. Just to make it interesting.
rushing ones. McCaffrey over under 90 and a half. Isaiah Pacheco over under 65 and a half.
McCaffrey can
I
easily.
say and McCaffrey could, but he could easily not. He could easily have just like 80 and still have like two touchdowns.
Yeah,
But
no,
he
I
usually
agree.
busts out a big one.
Yeah, I'm with you actually. No, I was gonna say like he usually gets that, but this game I'm gonna say under for McCaffrey.
Yeah, I just unfortunately I think the Chiefs are gonna win this game. As much as like the 49ers are hyped and everything like that, I mean like they may be favored, but to me they feel like the underdog here for sure.
Say for
Because Mahomes already has couple Super Bowl rings. They have experience. He's the best player in the league right now. Purdy is great, but still young. And at times, this 49ers team has looked beatable in the playoffs by not only Green Bay, but also,
the Lions.
yeah, that game could have gone either way. The Lions almost lost that game more than the 49ers won it.
No,
So
they definitely did lose that game more.
I don't know. I just don't have a ton of confidence despite the 49ers beating almost every team in the regular season. Mahomes is going to make his magic happen, and I just think they're going to end up winning this game.
If the 49ers play like they did those past few games, like you said, against the Chiefs, then the Chiefs are gonna win because the Chiefs are better than all those other teams. But I think like we said, 47 and a half is the over under. Do we still feel that's low or do you think
I think
about
that's
right?
pretty accurate. I would say it's going to end up being, I mean, maybe I would take the over. I think it's going to end up being like 28, 24, 23, something like that. Maybe even 28, 31, something
The
like that.
What was the Eagles? Just looking at the last year, just curious. Okay, the Eagles last year against Chiefs was 38-35, so it was higher scoring.
Yeah, it definitely was higher scoring. You guys were up in the first half. That was 65 combined, 35,
Oh,
30, something you said. So
so
I still think over.
38-35. It was like 73.
Yeah, I still think over.
Or yeah, probably
I don't
over.
know. These both of these offenses are schemers, they're gonna have some plays dialed up to try to trick these guys. That's what I would like to see as a fan because I don't really care for either team. I tend to root for the underdog more, but in that case, it's San Francisco, and I don't really want to. So, and I think the Chiefs are probably going to win, so I'll probably end up betting more things towards the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, as an
Just
Eagles
my
fan,
personal opinion.
if it was anybody other than the 49ers and NFC, pretty much, I guess, except maybe the Cowboys, it's a great story. Mr. Irrelevant in the Super Bowl against
Yeah,
Mahomes.
yeah, literally the best newest quarterback. Yeah,
But
it is a great story.
I'm trying not to have my bias affect what I what I think could really happen. So,
Yeah,
do we think there's
that's a
any
good way to put it.
players on either side that maybe might who do you think might be a bigger factor during this game that's not necessarily like a big name, like other than Kelsey, Mahomes, and Purdy, or do you think there's anybody else that's like a dark horse on either side of the ball on either team?
I think if the 49ers want to win, I think they're going to need Kittle and Debo to have, and Ayuk to all have big games, or one of those three is going to have some big plays for sure. Because they're obviously going to use McCaffrey, but one of those other three's got to step up. Maybe even use check. I don't know. Maybe we get a crazy good game out of Isaiah Pacheco. He's kind of a really scrappy player, but it's just that 49ers defense is pretty strong. So that's a good matchup there. It's just kind of whatever if the Chiefs receivers are going to show up or not as well. They did show up when it mattered in the playoffs. Mahomes threw up those prayers against the Bills, but in the regular season, those guys were nowhere to be found. Same thing could potentially happen. We'll see. I think 49ers have a pretty good defense.
I do too, but I just keep thinking back to the Baltimore Chiefs game, and we kept saying how Baltimore has like, elite defense they had all year, and Patrick Mahomes pretty much picked them apart.
I mean, yeah, but they only scored 17 points.
That's true.
So the Ravens had three turnovers.
Do we think Brock Purdy
So
turns it over?
I think he might. I don't know. It's hard to bet on the unproven. Yes, he has played really well for almost two seasons, and he's made some good plays in these most recent playoffs. But that doesn't completely convince me. Mahomes is, you know, been there, done that a couple times. He wants to be the greatest. I think Chiefs win this game. Just my gut reaction.
Do you have like a prediction for the score? Maybe we can give it at the end. We can give it at the end. Let's go over some more odds.
To score a touchdown, Christian McCaffrey minus 225. That's easy. You're not going to get any money back on that. Pacheco minus 130, Travis Kelsey minus 115. So those guys are all favored. Rashee Rice. That guy's a nice scrappy player too. He's been playing well. I added him on fantasy in some league and he did quite well. Deebo Samuel plus 140, Ayuk 155, George Kittle 175. See, that's what I'm saying. The guys that are favored to score are more Kansas City oriented besides McCaffrey. So I think if one of these guys can show up for the 49ers and make a couple of big plays or touchdowns, Ayuk, Devo, Kittle, it could be a game.
I think for the Chiefs side, like a dark horse player that nobody's talking about is Jerick McKinnon, who just got elevated from the IR for this game.
Wow.
I don't think
I did
anybody's
not
talking
know
about
that.
that. It's just in the passing game, I mean, and he was the one that
Yeah.
sealed the game against us last year.
Yeah.
Shifty,
There's
smaller
always
guy.
somebody like that.
So that's who I think.
That's a good pick. I think that's a good pick. I'll go Ayuk for my pick. I don't know if that's like under the radar, but I think he could be an X factor for the 49ers. Receiving yards, Kelsey over 70. Come on, that's a joke. Rashi Rice 66 and a half. Ayuk 61 and a half. Debo 58 and a half. Kittle 47 and a half.
I think Kittle goes over.
McCaffrey 33 and a half for receiving. He could easily have a screen or something like that. Busts open.
American Gaming Association projecting 23.1 billion in bets.
That's awesome. That's crazy. And do we know how much cost of a 30-second ad is?
Oh yeah, so the cost for the 30-second Super Bowl ad back in 1967, so obviously a while ago. But can you guess what it was in 1967? Just take a wild number.
I want to say $20.
Oh, okay. No, it's higher than that. No, no, no. We're in the thousands.
Okay. uh,
I'll say we're in the tens of thousands. How about that?
this was in what year?
67.
67. 20,000.
It's like double that. So
Really? That expensive back then?
42,500. Let's just say, okay, 90s. Or how about you want to guess 2000?
Yeah, I would say 90s, 2000. We are now reaching $500,000 range,
Okay, you're getting closer now. Yeah, so it's
something
90
like that.
90s was 700,000 and then 2000 was like 2000 was 2 million.
Dang, that's a big jump.
Yeah. And then 2024 now, can you guess what it is?
It's
For a
got
30-second
for a
ad
30-second
for
ad,
this year's
it's
Super
got to
Bowl.
be, it was 2 million in 2000. So I'm going to say it's 10
Still
million
close. I
now.
mean, 7 million.
That doesn't seem outrageous, I guess, but 30 seconds, that's a lot of money for 30 seconds, actually. If you calculate that down to how much per second that is,
Should we just
that's
do that right now?
brutal.
So
Yeah,
7 million divided by 30. It looks like it's 233,333 roughly a second.
a second. So over 200K a second.
Yeah.
Yikes. That shit better be hilarious.
We'll see. And then we have the Usher halftime show.
Yeah. Any surprise guest artists you think he'll bring out?
Actually, I don't know. I didn't think about that.
'Cause they always bring somebody out, you know? It's never just Usher.
He's gonna play like some old classics, right? Are we gonna go all the way back
Yeah,
to like
I would hope
Yeah
so.
and bring Little John
Yeah.
and Ludacris?
That would be great. Little John Lucas would be awesome to have come out. I'm excited about that. I'm definitely going to fill out that prop bets sheet that we always do. It's always a fun time. I wonder what the over under is of how many times Taylor Swift is shown, or if she even makes it, or if there's odds if she even makes it. I saw some crazy thing about how she has to fly from Tokyo and back, but she technically has enough time to make it.
Because of the delay, the 12 hours, she has enough time to get there back Saturday night, so plenty of time.
Yeah,
And she already, I don't know if you
you could
saw the
even
Gram.
give him a kiss before the game.
Seriously. I don't know if you saw the Grammys too this past weekend, but she secured the album of the year now, so Travis Kelce
Yeah,
just needs his hardware.
yeah, I saw that. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But we got a couple more minutes.
I don't,
So, what's your pick? What's your pick? I want
oh
to know your
yeah,
pick. I will say my pick first. I am gonna pick the Chiefs. They are gonna win 31-28. Um, San Francisco comes up short at the end, is how I'll say it ends. That's my prediction.
uh, I
Taylor
could
Swift makes it. Chiefs win. Travis Kelce proposes. It's over.
I could easily just pick Mahomes. I've gone against him every single time and felt like an idiot every single time. So I can easily I sh just go with Mahomes and the Chiefs and all of the things we had just mentioned about the traveling and all that and the history and all the odds. But for some reason, like I said, I'm gonna go against what I want to happen. I think the 49ers can do it. So I'm gonna say 24-21 49ers.
Okay, lower scoring. 24-21 that you're going to take the under.
Oh, actually, it is the under, huh?
Seven
What
and a
is it?
half.
47? Oh, yeah, maybe
Yeah, I
I
mean,
am
you
a little
said low
low.
scoring. I like it. I like it.
Maybe 27,
Stick with
24.
it.
I don't, yeah, but I just have this feeling that the Niners can pull it off.
They have
And
not won in a long time. They've been there a couple times past 10 years, but they've not won since the 90s. They feel due, I would say. They had that they lost at Baltimore in that crazy Joe Flacco run when we were in college. Then they lost 4 years ago to Mahomes in the first leapy year Red Bull. So Chiefs are beatable. We've seen it happen this year. The regular season, they kind of snuck by. I'm just gonna go with the experience.
yeah, I feel it. I think we all can agree. We just want this game to be over so we can move on to next season.
I yeah.
I don't know if you
I'm gonna have fun at the Super Bowl. I'm gonna make a lot of bets, play some drinking games, just hanging out with friends.
did you happen to see the one on my story? It's I don't know how to pronounce it, Bovada or Bovada.
Bovada,
For
yeah.
the game to end in a tie, alien invasion plus 100,000. I think I'll put $5 on that.
That's good. That's the greatest odds there are. Yeah, I love it. Well, it's too bad we couldn't get Caleb in, but it's been a fun year. The football content will not be stopping despite the year ending. We'll get right back into it with our draft videos. Be interested about that next couple months, how that goes. We'll have some free agency happening, the schedule release, things like that. Lots to look forward to always in the NFL all year round.
Yeah, absolutely. Right around the corner. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to the Schlabcast. For Jeff, I'm Andy. And thanks for tuning into the Super Bowl 58 preview, Chiefs versus Niners. And let's go, Birds.
So be, so be, go Texans.
Shaba.
Dab. Whatever. Happy for Miley Cyrus won her first Grammy for Flowers,
That's right.
Song of the Year. That's pretty cool. Andy and I have been big Miley Cyrus fans ever since the beginning. I wouldn't say even the beginning. We were new age Miley Cyrus fans.
We knew she was going to be big. We saw it coming.
We saw what was that stupid movie? Uh,
Oh, I'm editing that out of this. We could talk about that, but that's not being posted. I think it was called like The Climb or something.
No, that's
Or
the
oh, the
stupid
song.
song.
That's a song, yeah.
You got to put that in there.